called The Devil All the Time, and it stars Tom Holland, Bill Skarsgård, Robert Pattinson, um, Jason Clarke, and Sebastian Stan. And Niall,
Yeah.
you suggested this. So what like inspired you to check this movie out? Were you just curious, or had you heard things about it?
Well, I think what really drew me in was the trailer of it. I remember
Mhm.
watching the trailer on like Netflix and just getting sucked into it
Yeah.
immediately. Like it looked so gritty and it just looked like such a really compelling story as well.
Hmm.
And I'm always a fan of Tom Holland as well. Tom Holland is phenomenal in everything that he does. So I wanted to see him in a different role that's like not necessarily Spider-Man.
Hmm.
So this was, a different story for him, and I think all that stuff just kind of drew me into it, honestly.
It's very different for
Yeah, and
him, for sure.
absolutely. And just like you were reading the Mistborn
Hmm.
series, right? On like a Friday night, it was just like we wanted to watch a movie, and this one just popped in my mind, and I was like, I'm watching that. So that's kind of what motivated me to bring this up as a topic for us. But yeah, you already kind of talked about it a little bit. Released in September, so we're a little bit late to the discussion party of it. It's been out for a few months,
Hmm.
but it's currently got a 7.1 rating on IMDb and 64% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a real gritty, intense, and tragic film. Yeah, anything else that you kind of want to add off the start here?
Yeah. And I think before we talk spoilers about it, watching it, I was kind of mixed on it. It was definitely interesting and just like weird and violent, and I liked following it, but the narration just pissed me off so much. Like every time there was a
Yeah.
potential moment of subtlety, it's like Tom Holland is like walking out of a conversation, and it's like, and he wanted to think this, but instead he was thinking this. I'm like, dude, shut up. I'm trying I'm trying to watch the movie. Stop telling me what's happening. Um, so that was my main. That was the issue I had with it, and there were points where it was
Right.
almost ruining the viewing experience for me. I was because the scenes themselves a lot of the time were really good, and then that narrator would come in, and the narrator is the author of the book, by the way, based on the credits.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Good to know.
and we should say too the film was directed by Antonio Campos and written by Antonio and Paulo Campos. Let's see, Antonio Campos. Should have looked this up ahead of time. I didn't. Um, he's produced a lot. Director. Let's see what directing credits he has. Um, he directed one episode of The Punisher show and a bunch of stuff I have not seen. Um,
Yeah, I think he's a pretty indie director, if I was
it,
understanding it right.
it would seem so. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned it briefly about the author of the book. So this movie is actually based on a 2011 novel
mhm.
by the same name, The Devil All the Time, and it's by this author named Donald Ray Pollock, who's actually from Knockemstiff, Ohio. So
Okay.
the places in this film are real places, apparently,
Yeah.
or at least Knockemstiff. I didn't really look beyond that, to be honest. But the novel itself apparently won numerous awards over the years. It was
Hmm.
really critically acclaimed when it came out. Um, and I haven't read it myself, but after watching this film, I might pick it up because I'm kind of a fan of that American Gothic horror
Hmm.
stuff. Like, I really like that Cormac McCarthy. I really like Flannery O'Connor, William Faulkner. Like, those are all tremendous writers that are like critical for American literature. So I think this book
Yeah.
will probably be like regarded for some time in some line of that American Gothic tradition.
Yeah. I didn't.
So I might read that.
I didn't make that connection until I saw your note on it, but tonally, I could see similarity to Cormac McCarthy. I haven't read a ton of his stuff.
Mhm.
I read The Road, and I watched that movie he wrote with Michael Fassbender, The Counselor.
Mm.
It's really bad, um, but it has that same tone. Very dark story with intersecting characters and plot lines. And now that you mention that, I do see the parallel there, kind of. But
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I'm not like a American Gothic horror expert or anything like that, but I do agree that I love The Road, Child of God, Cormac McCarthy is just incredible. So if you have the time to read those books, definitely check them out. But yeah, do you want to give like I guess I could do a non-spoiler description. Do you want to do one as well, or I guess we could decide.
I'll give it a shot, and then you elaborate, I guess, on where I missed. So it seems, I think the best way to describe it is it's the sort of the intersecting lives of these people in West Virginia, rural West Virginia and Ohio, in time spanning from the early 50s to the late 60s, and they're all kind of connected through themes of religion and evangelicalism, and you just kind of see how pain and violence moves through these people's lives, kind of like a sickness, and connects them all in a negative way. Yeah, I think that's the best I got for that. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good synopsis. I would say it's a tale of violence and chaos. It's a tale of religion and family. But yeah, the interconnected nature of all these different people across Ohio and West Virginia. I guess another way to frame it is just it's a really good story. It's just like a solid film. If you want to get wrapped up into something that's just like a 2-hour long film that's going to just kind of consume you for a while and it's going to take you out of reality. If you're looking for something that's really captivating and powerful and impactful, this is definitely a story worth checking out.
It is also very upsetting, fair warning. It's